Hey guys, Chris, Ironhead Garage. There goes Big Daddy going down the track. Yeah, that's nostalgia there. He's a bad man. So, been working on the old 55 GMC a little bit. Got the wheels all on her. American Racing wheels. So they're looking pretty slick. I got longer studs coming for them. Those studs are an inch, just over an inch. I got inch and 3/4 studs coming for them. Ordered a whole bunch of stuff for this old truck. I got new wing windows coming, the Easy Eye green, new side glass coming, whole weather stripping kit, seal for the windshield, the rear windshield, the wing window, the sweeps, door seals. So that's going to be cool. I did order a new tank. I ain't going to mess around with that old one. I'm going to get a nice clean one that I don't have to mess around and weld. That one I doubt was in here wasn't the original one anyway. It didn't mount right. I got the original straps coming to hold the tank. I got a new gas spout coming with the correct vent tube, and it comes with the hoses and a chrome cap. So that's cool, and it comes with a new seal here. I ordered both cab corners because this has got a couple little rest holes in her, and I believe they come up to about here or so and come back. So I'll replace those. I ordered side mirrors for it, some black ones. So those would be nice. I ordered the running light lenses. So I'll have 2 new of them. I ordered a whole bunch of stuff. A whole lot of stuff is coming. I ordered this door lower because after I was looking under here, there is a rust hole here that was pretty brittle, and that rust hole there. So this panel, interior replacement panel, I believe it probably comes up to the second rib here. Not sure how much I'll cut out, but I'll replace that. I was looking for this little latch that holds the, you can see there, holds the striker on the glove box. Thought I was going to have to find one, and I pulled this windshield garnish molding off of the windshield, and there it was laying down inside there. So that was a sweet find. What else did I get? I've been over here, I cleaned out all them rusty old rails. There's a stainless steel new rails I got. Some of these are still in plastic. I ordered a bolt kit for here. Came with like 80 bolts or something to hold this bed on. Not sure what kind of wood I'll put in here. Oak would be nice. But got a whole bunch of stuff coming. It's going to be nice to work with. Still got to look up these numbers on this motor and find out exactly what it is. But I'm going to get this rear end up on jack stands and pull that drive line out and take them axles out and see if them axle bearings are good, and spin them and take that center section out and clean that rear end housing all out and make sure it's all good. And we'll buy a new seal for that around the pumpkin there. And I'll build new brake lines for that rear end housing. So, and those studs are going to be 1 3/4 long, so those are going to be a lot better. And I got locking lug nuts coming for the wheels. So a bunch of goodies. Going to have lots of stuff to do here in a while after everything shows up. I'm going to get this thing jacked up and get them wheels off and slide hammer them axles out. Alright guys. Uh-oh. Looks like Pentagon must have crashed that top fueler. Alright. Cruz. Saw him before live. Alright guys. Get this old girl jacked up. Be back. There's Big Daddy. They just had Shirley Moe Downey on there. So I got them wheels off. Got this pig jacked up. Put her ass in. Somebody has replaced the brakes on it. Look how fat those shoes are. The rear shoe. secondary shoe. So on the rear is your primary shoe. So you can see the brake shoe is longer. The pad is longer on the bottom there. I got the adjuster to turn. I'll put some anti-seize in there. I'll take this all apart. But the wheel cylinder, the boots are real pliable. So that's cool. My buddy, he turns brakes for guys, and he's got a drum brake turning machine. You can turn your rotors, your brakes. So the rotor's not too bad. It don't have a lip in there. It's just got some surface rust from it setting. So I'll get the rear rotors turned, and I'll get them front ones turned too. Let's go check out the other side, see what it looks like. Woo. Sound like a burnout. Man, I wish I had a big shop, but at least I can fit 2 cars in here. So this side here, it looks like it was getting a little bit of water in it. But the brake shoes are nice and fat still, and they're all good. So I'll just clean these brake pads up and run these brake pads. This wheel cylinder, the rubber's real pliable. And I'm going to build a new brake line for that rear end housing. But the axle, it's tight. The bearing's tight, but we're going to pop her out and then spin them bearings by hand. Make sure this drum over here on the driver's side, it's got some more rust. You can see where water was setting in there. That's why this one was kind of crusty in here, but all that'll clean up nice. I'll get these brake shoes all apart, and get these axles out, and I'll get this drum turned too. You'll waste a pair of brake pads if you started running it on that drum. But they used to be all painted black. We'll get them all painted black again. I actually got my little sandblaster out the other day. So you can see that frame used to be all painted up in there. He's a pretty clean old truck. I think I'm going to take these overloads out probably, and I was looking. You can see these U-bolts. I believe there's enough threads on them. Right down here. I'm going to measure that. I'm going to measure the overload springs and then measure the threads here and see if I take them overloads out, if these U-bolts have enough threads to tighten her back down. There is a tag on that rear end housing there. She's not a posi though. I wish I wouldn't have got rid of that posi, but it is what it is. Maybe I could find a posi for this or 12 bolt or something for it one day. I just can't get myself to put a Ford rear end in a Chevy. I know they're good, but if anything, we'll put an Oldsmobile in it. I know where there's another Oldsmobile rear end. It's not a posi, but she's an Oldsmobile, so it might be worth getting one day. I'm sure it's still around. Alright, well, I guess next, get that old crusty driveline off of there. And the U-joints actually feel good. Where's it at? There it is. I was wiggling the driveline. It feels all nice and tight. It needs to be wire wheeled down and repainted, but we'll get to that. Alright guys, back on it. Alright, I got the driveline out. U-bolts came loose. The clamps on the driveline came loose. It's like the pinion seal don't leak. Man, I took that driveline out. Since this thing is up in the ass end, I thought, not very much fluid to come out. Man, she started pumping full, or pumping fluid out. So that was bad. We had a little spillage. But let me roll under here. See if you can see underneath here. Get this light. There's my leak. I wiped it up, but I'll spread some dust around. But look at the cross member that's in there. I don't know if that's stock or when they did the Pontiac, factory did the Pontiac. motor in them back in the day, but the front is made just like that. It's all super nice. There's a floor pan. There's that old gas that was leaking, looks like. But look how clean it is under there. I mean, it's not clean, but rust free. And then the bottom of the cab, there's barely any little rust spots. A couple there. The wiring is not too bad. I'll go through the wiring, make sure that's all right. It's got all the e-brake clamps. But yeah, so the front of it up there, they just welded flex pipe to the manifold collectors and then ran this exhaust. So I'm gonna have to put some exhaust on it. But she's pretty clean underneath here. You can see there the rockers, or the steps, or whatever you call them. And inside the inside cab corners are good. Whoever built it, they siliconed every little hole up. A little bit of rust right there from the gas spillage. But the rockers are all solid. Surface rust, but nothing much. Same on this side. Looked out on this little girl. That's the one I'll cut off the outer. There's the bed. Holding you guys upside down, making you feel dizzy probably. But there's that. Gotta figure out what transmission that is. I think it's a 400. It looks like it has a. See that pan. I gotta get the numbers off of it and check it out. There's a original cross member. Belly cross member. I guess that's just I'm not sure what that cross member is for the frame. I guess to keep the frame strong. So it's got 3 cross members. The engine cross member. And you guys can see it there. There's that engine cross member cradle. Super nice. I don't know if it's homemade or not. I'm gonna have to investigate it. But, oh, I did order a new master cylinder. I'm just going to run this master cylinder here style. You can see it there. I got to get them bolts out. I've been soaking it with a little bit of PB Blaster. Hopefully I can get them brake lines out without breaking them. This rear one from here to the rear end looks good. The rear end one I'll rebuild. And I'll have to check them ones going up to the front. Crawl out from underneath this pig. Oh, that's rough on an old guy. Alright, well. Now I'm going to take these. I'm not sure we're going to take the brakes apart first. I'll probably soak them bearing retainers. Bolts back there. There's them. That's where the studs go through. And then I'll slide hammer these axles out and check them bearings. They sound okay, but better to double check. Got to bang these studs out anyway. That's going to be a hell of a lot easier to bang them out on the bench. So we'll get that done. I'm going to soak these bolts a little bit, then unloosen them, and then see if I can bang these axles out. Alright, boys. We'll be back. Still watching my drag racing. Gotta love these old drags. Man, these boys were tough back then, braver than hell. Alright, I'll be back. Alright guys, well, I got that drive line out under there. And I got the brakes all apart. You can actually see where there's some anti-seize still left on there where the brake shoes rub on that backing plate. That's what you want to do, or you'll get grooves in there and the brake shoes will drag. The wheel cylinder, it feels pretty good, but I'm going to take it off and take it apart. Make sure there ain't no rust in it. Got to rebuild them brake lines anyway. So the bearing retainer is right there. There's them studs that go through, 4 studs. They have little nuts on the back side. I got them cracked loose with no trouble. So now I got my my slide hammer out. Just a cheap little old slide hammer I've had forever with a little hook on it. And these axles should pop out. We'll see how stubborn they are. Set you guys down here. Give her a whirl. Kind of work side to side. My Chinese slide hammer holds up. Which is going to give me a little bit of trouble. Come in here and smack these backing plate, this bearing retainer a little bit. These little studs that are frozen in there probably. It's probably got a bunch of silicone on there. Because there's a gasket in there that holds it. I see one's jumped out of there. That backing plate a little bit. Now that bearing retainer is coming off. Getting looser, got one stubborn one there on the top. Might have to put a nut on it and give it a smack. I think so. I'll give it a whirl again. I've seen it move. Yep, that one there is holding. Put a nut on it. Try to smack it a little bit and see what happens. Get my fat head in here. Give her a thump from the back. Get that nut on there a couple turns so I don't mess them threads up. There she goes. She popped loose that time. Get that nut back off. I'll give her a whirl. Come on, baby. There she comes. Now the gasket's holding it. The gasket sealer. Must be some of that black super Permatex. She's being stubborn. Give her another whirl. She's trying. Who the hell is holding it? It should come. Just gotta keep with it. Any day. Come on, baby. Fail me now. I think that axle plate's hanging up. Bearing retainer's hanging up a little bit. See the bearing. It's trying to come out. Try it again. Come on, you son of a bitch. bending my hook. Guess I should have bought an American made one. Didn't really hit with a hammer. Straighten around a little bit. It's nice and tight. Gotta be right there. Gonna defeat me on camera. Chinese slide hammer gonna bust on me. The bearing retainer is kind of jackknifed. Oh, I see. I see why. Dumbass has got one nut left on there. Not very bright. Oh well. Now they're all out. Now I bet that some bitch comes right out. There we go. All that over one little nut. That's that one I was smacking. I didn't want to mess the threads up. There it is. There's that bearing. There's a little O-ring around there. Right there you can see. Spin that bearing. Yeah. It don't feel very good. It feels a little... Oh, it's not too bad. But we'll get them out. See what they look like. Sometimes in these bearings get real bad. That bearing there will spin in that housing. It'll ruin your damn housing. So you got to make sure that bearing hasn't spun and it don't look like it. It don't have no spin marks on it or anything. So I think the housing's good. But we'll get this axle out. We'll clean it up. I'll do the other side just like this side. And the way you put them back in, I'll probably show it. You put a new O-ring on this, and you want to put a little bit of super black RTV silicone around there, so you don't want to trust just that O-ring from it leaking, and then smack it back in with the rubber mallet. But now I got this axle out. Check that bearing over, and I can bash these studs out. I got 1 3/4 studs coming for it. So cool. Get this out, clean it up. We'll go to the other side. I'll do the same. I won't show that. It's pretty boring. You guys see me battle that one. It's pretty simple though. If you get that damn nut off the back of it that I forgot on there. So anyway, this video is getting pretty long. You guys see me do that. I'm gonna go battle the other side and check that bearing out. Then I'm gonna pull that center section out. Get a new gasket for it. Clean it all up. Pump some new gear oil in it after I get the axles in it. And lube them brakes all up and go on to the next part of this old girl. There she is. Oh yeah. Alright guys. We'll appreciate you watching. You guys take care. Be safe out there. I'm going to keep working on this old GMC. Take it easy. Appreciate you. See you next time.